Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Talking Facts. Today, we got to interview my favorite player growing up, Braylon Edwards. Hope you guys enjoy this one as much as I did.
Yo,
How's it going, man?
what's going on with it, man?
First question is, what is your earliest football memory?
When I was 12 years old, I always wanted to play football. My dad played professional. I grew up around football. All of them played, but my dad wouldn't let me play. He wanted me to wait till I was 13, 14. So finally, I convinced my stepmother to convince my father to let me play. And when he did, I went to my first football practice. There was no pads. Went out there, ran around, was faster than everybody, caught the ball. All that was great. We ended up doing pads the next day, and they put me at running back first. Even though, I told them I wanted to play wide receiver, et cetera. They see what you can do. Put me at running back. I got hit so hard that I told my dad I didn't want to play football anymore. I was like, I'm cool. I thought this is something that I wanted to do, but nah, I'm okay. They're hitting too hard out there. But, he wouldn't let me quit. Took me back the next day, and eventually, we get to this point, 37. So my first memory of football is I didn't know that the hitting was that hard.
All right, so at what point did you think you had a real shot to go to the NFL?
I went to Martin Luther King High School for my first 3 years of high school football, so freshman, sophomore, junior year. And it was cool. I started, but nothing was over the top. Nothing was exceptional, et cetera. When I left King, I transferred to Bishop Gallagher. Rest in peace to Coach George Sahady. He taught me how to play football. He taught me how to hit. He taught me how to tackle. He taught me how to play the wide receiver position. He taught me about going to camps, et cetera, et cetera. So once I went through, I guess you would call it the off-season phase. And then I think naturally I got taller too. I grew 7 inches in that. I think I grew like 7, 8 inches in that January of 2000 to September of 2000. Like in that window, I grew 7 inches, learned how to play the game. Like I was bigger now, I was faster. So then it started to look like something. I said, you know what? Okay, now we're on to something. Now I feel like my last name is Edwards, if you will.
So how did you end up at Michigan as opposed to other colleges?
My dad went to Michigan, so it was always my dream to go to Michigan. I don't think I ever mentally fully entertained any other schools. Like it was going to be between Michigan. Vanderbilt was the first major school to offer me a scholarship. Vanderbilt offered me in the summer going into my senior year. Michigan State then followed up with an offer. Cal offered, which is interesting because if I go to Cal, I'm playing with Aaron Rodgers in 2 years. Essentially, if I go to Vanderbilt, I'm playing with Jay Cutler in a year, essentially. So, those are cool things. But once Michigan offered me, I want to say it was October of 2000. It was at a Wisconsin game, like an unofficial visit. Once they offered me, everything was off the table. I wanted to go where my dad went. Charles Woodson, was my guy, my favorite college football player all the time. Grew up watching Desmond Howard, so it was a no-brainer.
So what was your favorite memory while playing at Michigan?
Favorite memory while playing? Everyone likes to talk about the Michigan State game when we were down 20 and in the last 6 minutes, and we came back and won and had 3 touchdowns. My favorite moment was the first touchdown I ever had because it's surreal. It's like even going to Michigan was like a surreal experience. It's kind of like, all right, I'm on the team. This is like freshman year. It's like, all right, I'm on the team, but still not starting. I'm not playing. I'm just on the team. Then I got a couple catches. It's like, all right, I caught in the pass at the big house, so now I can tell my girlfriend, yes, I'm actually on the team. You saw me catch that pass, etc. But when I caught that first touchdown my sophomore year, it was a 45-yard post route. We were playing Washington, and Washington had beat us the year before. They beat us in Washington. So catching that touchdown, first time, and hearing the crowd erupt, 115,000 people go crazy, and we actually won that game and got paid that. That was the best memory I've ever had.
So what was the Rose Bowl game like against Texas?
Some bullshit. But I was still mad at my defensive coordinator for those third down all out blitz calls. No, it was a great experience. It's bittersweet because we played the year before and lost to USC. Now we were favored to beat Texas, but it just wasn't in the cards. But it was a great game, man. We talk about so many NFL players to come out of that game. Rest in peace to Cedric Benson. Derrick Johnson, who had a tremendous career with the Chiefs. Mike Huff was in that game. Aaron Ross was in that game. Myself, Jason Avant, Steve Preston, Mike Hurt. It was a star-studded game, man. It came down to a field goal, And even after they made the field goal, Steve Preston had a 50-yard kickoff return at the end of the game, which he almost scored on, which would have been insane to win on a kick return. And it wasn't even a trick kick return. It was just him. So it was a great game. It's like I said, bittersweet though. 3 touchdowns. If we win, I'm probably Rose Bowl MVP. And the cool thing about it is they put all the Rose Bowl MVPs, they etched it in stone on the side of the Rose Bowl Stadium. But it just wasn't in the cards. So.
All right, so leading up to the NFL draft, did you know what teams had interest in you, and where did you think you'd end up?
So Cleveland tricked me. I never talked to Cleveland throughout the whole process. I didn't talk to them, not one time. Only time I had interaction with them was Terry Rubisky, who ended up being my receivers coach in Cleveland. He kind of ran my pro day. So he put me through all the drills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Outside of that, no contact. I thought I was going to the Dolphins because the Dolphins had talked to me the most. Rick Spielman at the time was the GM. I talked to him on the phone a bunch of times. I flew down there and met with Nick Saban. This would have been the first year he was the coach of the Dolphins. Met with Nick Saban. They came. They brought their whole staff to my pro day. Thought I was going there. If that didn't happen, I thought I was going to go fourth to the Bears. The Bears showed great interest. Fred Graves, not Fred Graves, wide receivers coach was he actually just passed away. I can't think of his name. But anyway, Coach Lovey was there. Jerry Angelo was the general manager. They show a ton of interest, and it's down the street. So for me, Chicago was ideal because I'm from Detroit. So now I get to see the Lions twice a year. It's a 4-hour drive from Chicago to Detroit, and the Vikings. The Vikings had the 7th pick. They showed a lot of interest throughout the whole process as well. So I thought I was either going 2nd, 4th, or 7th.
So what was the experience like playing in Cleveland?
It's an interesting one. There were some good times, there were some bad times. It was tough being a Michigan guy. Ohio was one of those places that they never let you forget you're a Michigan fan. Not that I wanted to forget I was a Michigan player, but there was a lot of resentment, a lot of back and forth. It's a tough place to play, because there's always expectations in the beginning, but then as you guys seen over the past 15 years or so, Cleveland Browns football always turns into Cleveland Browns football at some point. It's a good off season, you get good picks, but at some point you're gonna look up and you guys are gonna be 4-12 or 6-10. So it was rough, especially coming from Michigan, where when we won the Big Ten championship my junior year, we won the Big Ten championship my senior year. We should have won a Big Ten championship my freshman year. I'm used to winning. So to go from, Big Ten championship, national championship conversation each year to consistently losing, it's mentally draining, I'll say.
So how was your 2007 Pro Bowl season different from your other seasons in Cleveland?
So my first 2 years, the offensive coordinator was Maurice Carthon, and it was Jeff Davison. Those guys will run first, pass second. So when you're dealing with run first, pass second, you allow the defense to dictate the pace of the game because the defense knows. They're like, all right, we know they're going to run on first down. We know they're going to run on second down. Then we know they're going to pass. So defense is allowed to be in good situations to get sacks, to get coverage sacks, regular sacks, to double team me, et cetera, et cetera. When my third year came about, nobody expected anything from the Browns. That was typical Browns football. Well, we went out and got Jamal Lewis from the Ravens, who people thought was on his last leg, but he had 1,300 yards in Cleveland. So now that you run the ball, you can open the passing game up. And Rod Chazinski implemented an offense that they hadn't seen in shoes. We had Kellen at the tight end. Kellen had, I think, just over 1,000 yards, 6, 7 touchdowns. Joe Jurevicius, who was a veteran, who knew what he was doing. So we actually had an offense, and we actually were running. We were passing the ball first. We were coming out the beginning of games passing. We were catching people off guard. So it was a real offense. It was how an NFL offense is structured. And so that's why you had success. Now, the following year, which would have been 2008, now teams know to look for that. And it's like, okay, well, we know what they kind of do. And then Rob never changed it. And then everybody got hurt. Like, everybody got hurt in 2008. Like, Joe Jurevicius got hurt. He ended up getting staph infection in his knee. He got hurt. Kellen Winslow ended up hurting his knee, was out for the season. Derek Anderson got hurt at quarterback, who would make Pro Bowl the year before that. Jamal Lewis got hurt. Brady Quinn, who's the backup quarterback, gets hurt. Ken Dorsey, who's the third-string quarterback, ends up getting hurt. Our right tackle, Eric Steiner, he got hurt. Like, everybody got hurt. Sean Rogers, who played for the Detroit Lions, Big Baby, we brought him in 2008. He gets hurt. So it just was a ton of injuries, and it was, we didn't change the offense. It was like they had a chance. Other teams had a chance to see the offense in the offseason. They had a chance to study it, know what we do, know our formations, know our trends, and we didn't change it once we got to the season.
So who was the hardest defensive back to go up against?
Champ Bailey's not even close. Hey, Champ Bailey is one of the most gifted athletes the NFL has ever seen. He's 6'1". He runs a 4.3. 6 foot runs a 4.3. One of the smartest football players and defenders I've ever covered. He always knew where the pass was going. He always knew where the play was going. Long arms, so he could and country strong. Champ's from Georgia. Went to Georgia, like, country strong, long arms, so he could jam you at the line of scrimmage. He could run faster than you. He knew where the play was going most of the time, so he just made it difficult as a wide receiver. You knew you had to be on your A game when you were playing against the Broncos, because I didn't see him when he played for the Redskins. So when he was playing for the Broncos, like, you just knew that you couldn't half-ass it. You had to bring it.
So can you share the story with the viewers that you shared on the stream about the nightclub incident?
With the
the days before you got traded to the Jets?
Yeah, not a problem. So after week 2, so Eric Mangini comes into the Jets, and then he's now my third head coach with the Cleveland Browns. He comes from New York. And, he's just a tough guy to play for. He's a great guy one-on-one, like an amazing guy, super, super smart football mind. But in a team atmosphere, he's just he's a difficult guy, if you will. So I guess after week 2, he could sense that players weren't buying in. He could sense that there was some issues, et cetera, et cetera. He comes into the full team meeting room, and he says, hey, if guys don't want to buy in, if guys don't want to be here, feel free to come upstairs in my office and talk to me about it. He said, and I'll do my best to be able to move you. So I was one of the first players to go up there, and I talked to him, and I explained to him. I said, hey, I've been here because this was year 5 for me. So I had a losing season in '05, losing season '06, Pro Bowl season '07, but we still don't make the playoffs. A losing season '08, and now and now we're 0-2 in my 5th season, and it's a bad 0-2. Like you work hard, but it's a bad 0-2. So I go up there and I just talk to him. I say, hey, it's nothing against you. If you could move me, I would like to move somewhere, get a fresh start, start over, be with a team that has a chance, etc. I just don't see it happening here in Cleveland, and I don't know if it's Cleveland. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's whatever. So I talked to him. He was very receptive of the conversation. And fast forward, we lose to the Bengals in week 4, and it's the same. It's the same. It's the same process, or it's the same routine every Sunday. It's go out there, play hard, lose, go home. The family drives up from Detroit, so my mom always cooks. We kick it at the house, whatever. And then they go home, and now we go out, go downtown, Cleveland, and go out, have fun, try to forget that we just got our ass whooped yet again. So on this particular night, we go to the club, and I'm just tired of losing. Like, I'm tired of Cleveland. I'm tired of the Browns. I'm tired of fighting with the fans over the Ohio State stuff. I'm just over the whole situation. I'm ready for a fresh start. So early into the night, because typically you stay out till 2. Club closes at 2. You stay out till 2. You go home. It had to be no later than about 11:30. I had just gotten in. I just was ready to go. So I left. I told my best friend, who was my manager at the time, I said, hey, here's my credit card. I said, pay for whatever we owe, and I'll be outside getting the car. So as I come downstairs, Edward Gibbons, a.k.a. Duck, is outside. He is LeBron's friend, Rich Paul, who's the super agent, who represents AD and, all those other people, is LeBron's best friend. Edward Gibbons is an associate of Rich Paul. So he throws the party at the nightclub we were at. So he's outside with a couple of his friends, maybe 4 guys or so, and he's asking me why I'm leaving. And I tell him, I said, man, I'm just over Cleveland, man. I'm like, this club sucks. I was like, the city sucks. Like, I'm just mad as hell. And he's from Cleveland, so I guess he took that to heart, or he took it a certain way, and he's like, yo, I always thought you sucked. I always did. So then he said some stuff, and in the midst of him talking, his friends surround me. So I'm from Detroit. Like, this situation only has 2 endings. Either I throw the first punch and set myself up to defend myself, or I get my ass kicked. So I threw the first punch. I knocked Doug out. I knocked out one of his boys. The other guys, they don't fight. So then I jump in the car and leave. I jump in the car, leave, go home. Well, one of my friends that came home with me, he is connected to Doug's circle and was like, yo, Doug went to the hospital, claiming he had a concussion. Then he took his paperwork and went over to the police station and is pressing charges. I'm like, really? These guys are about to try to jump me, and now they're pressing charges. I said, whatever. And then it broke that Monday on ESPN. It broke that I got into a fight. I allegedly assaulted Edward Gibbons. And so from then, that was Monday. I talked to Coach Mangini in the morning. I told him what happened. Monday goes by, Tuesday goes by, and then Wednesday, I come in and Coach Mangini let me know that I was traded to the Jets. So, I was happy to go. Yeah, I hated that it happened under that pretense, but I was happy to get out anyway. So most people assume that I threw the punch and then got traded. More so, that trade was already in the works. Just the punch, I guess, maybe sped things up, if you will.
So what was the difference between playing in New York or New Jersey and playing in Cleveland?
Rex Ryan was a great players coach. And what I mean by a players coach is if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing, i.e. practicing hard, winning games, taking care of your body, he took care of you. You know, we had practices weren't as hard or as long. He gave us some extra days off in there. And so it made you want to play for him more. He did. That was one thing. And just the energy and the atmosphere at the Jets facility in Florham Park was just different than Cleveland. Like, I'm talking about everybody from the maids, not the maids, the chef, the custodians, the front office, administration, the training staff. Everything was just different. It was very conducive to winning football. It was very conducive to a winning attitude. And so it felt like a professional situation that you were happy to be in. Like, coming to work wasn't a drag. Like, when in Cleveland, coming to work was a drag. It's like another day. You wake up, put your feet on the ground, and you get out the bed. It's like, I'm going into work. It felt like a drag. In New York, you were excited to wake up, to go to work, to go to Jets facility, to play, get to Sunday, play and win. Like, it just was different energy, and it was contagious. Like, they knew, like, it wasn't a lot of politics. Kind of somewhat. It's always going to be a level of politics, but it wasn't as much politics going on. It was, we want to win. We want to do what it takes to win. And for the most part, we did. Back-to-back AFC Championships. Just different energy.
Yeah, so how does playoff football or even the AFC Championship differ from everything else?
In terms of?
Just everything. The energy, the play styles, the...
The thing about it is, you know, when you're in the playoffs and you get to the championship, like, each week brings you closer to the ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. Like, we play the game to win the Super Bowl. You play the game to get to the Super Bowl. So when you're in the playoffs, you can feel like the sense of urgency goes up. Like, the sense of urgency on every play is a playoff play. This could be a championship play. This could be the play to get us from the wild card game to the second round game. You know, and then most of the games, like, when we went, both years we went to AFC Championship, we were the underdogs. Like, so we made the wild card in the 2010 playoffs, and we were the wild card in the 2011 playoffs. So it's also that much sense of urgency, whereas you guys barely made it. You guys are barely here. Like, I remember the first year we made the playoffs, so much had to happen because we kept losing. Like, we kept, like, splitting. So we'd win a game, then lose a game. Then we win a game, then lose a game. I think our record was 9-7. But we should have been 11 wins, but you kept losing a game, winning a game. So everything had to happen for us to get to playoffs, and it happened for us to get in the playoffs, and we did. So here we are, this team that shouldn't be here, and then we go out and beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati. It's cold as hell that game. Then we turn around and go out to San Diego. I think San Diego was a 2 seed that year. Then we go out to San Diego and beat San Diego. Then we go down to Indianapolis, and we're beating Indianapolis at halftime. So just the energy of both those games. The last thing I say about that, when we beat the Patriots in the 2011 playoff, there was no energy that I've ever felt in NFL like that one. Because I think we had beat them the first game of the year. They beat us really bad on Monday Night Football. I think we played Monday Night Football. They were 9-2. We were 9-2. We were the number 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC, and they beat us 45-3. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, they beat us bad. Anything and everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and they beat us up bad. So no one thought that we could win, and we ended up going into Gillette Stadium and knocking off, Tom Brady and the Patriots. Man, that's where you get the infamous Bart Scott "can't wait" quote as we were going in to play the Steelers, who we had just beat 5 weeks prior to that in Pittsburgh. So our mindset was, shoot, when we beat the team we weren't supposed to beat, we've already beaten the Steelers 5 weeks ago. Like, we're one step closer to getting to our goal, which is the Super Bowl.
All right, so what was your favorite NFL memory?
First touchdown. I think first touchdown and the touchdown against the Patriots in the playoff game in 2011. First touchdown I ever got was the second game of the season, my rookie year. We're playing in Green Bay. We're playing at Lambeau Field against Brett Favre, and I caught an 80-yard touchdown. Like, you know, Lambeau Field is probably the most. Would it be safe to say it's the most famous and legendary field in the NFL? Would you buy that?
I would agree with that.
Okay, so here I am, this 22-year-old kid, second game into his career, and he reels off an 80-yard touchdown against Brett Favre in Lambeau Field. Like that memory is one that's gonna stay there forever. And then I scored a slant touchdown on a fourth down. On a 3rd and 10 against the Patriots in that playoff win that kind of really got us going. Like that touchdown, that energy, I think we ended up going in at halftime up 14-0 or 10. No, we went up 14-3, something like that. So that play for me kind of set the tone for ultimately what we would end up doing that game. San Antonio ended up scoring after that. Sean Green ended up scoring after that. Dave Harris ended up getting an interception. And I feel like that play kind of was a catalyst for the energy that ensued the rest of that game. So Lambeau in 2005 and Gillette in 2011.
All right, so can you share some other crazy stories you have from your playing days?
Crazy stories. Let me see. Yeah, I talked about this one online yesterday, but it's a good one. There's the infamous sideline incident that happened in 2006 with me and Charlie Fry, and the way in which it looks on camera and the way in which the commentators commentated, it makes it look like I'm arguing or yelling at Charlie Fry because, you know, I couldn't get the ball. Like, that's the way in which they told the story, which couldn't be further from the truth. What happened was the line had given up 9 sacks. And you can go look this information up. It had been the Browns, Bengals, 2006. It had been at Cleveland. First time we played them. We gave up 9 sacks. So Charlie Fry's jersey is just completely covered in grass because he's been on his ass all game. I come to the sideline, and the lineman at the time, I don't have to say any names, you can look up the information. This is when the PSP, I don't know how old you are. Do you remember the PSPs, the portable PlayStation games?
Yeah.
So the linemen used to always play those games in meeting rooms or like before meetings, in the lounge. If we were traveling, they would play it on the bus. They would play it on the plane. This was like one of the first games, the worst things to use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So they would play it on the wherever they could. They've given up 9 sacks in this game, and they're over there talking about a video game. I was livid. I was so angry. So what I'm actually essentially doing is I'm turning Charlie Fry around to show them his jersey. I'm like, you guys are talking about a video game. Meanwhile, back in his jersey looks like this. Like, I couldn't be more upset or angry, but that is the true story of what happened on that particular play. It had nothing to do with me getting into it with Charlie Fry. It had everything to do with me telling the linemen that they were pieces of work for having the audacity to talk about a video game as you guys are out there looking like a bad version of a video game.
All right, well, that's all I have. If you're done sharing.
Yeah, man, I think that's some good info, man. I think we got a good podcast situation with that.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate that.
No problem. Hope you got what you wanted.
Yep. I'll make sure to keep tuning into the streams.
Okay.
Those are great.
They're interesting. I'll say that.
Oh, they're so nice.
All right, man. You have a good day.
All right, you too.